Hello and welcome to the Florida Men Gaming. I'm Furion and today we will be playing Magic the Gathering Arena. This season we are looking to work our way from Bronze to Mythic and have some fun along the way. But before we get started, I would like to ask you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and would love to have you along for the journey. For this video, we will be playing a Gruul Werewolves deck I've decided to call Counterpalooza. Why? Because we're going to be doing everything we can to maximize counters on our creatures. We're going to do that through a variety of methods, mostly creature-based, starting with the 1 green mana Tenacious Pup. This little puppy enters the battlefield, gives you +1 health, and then the next creature that enters receives a +1/+1 counter, trample counter, and vigilance. That pairs very nicely with cards such as the Packsong Pup, which, before combat on each turn, gets +1/+1. If this card happens to die, you gain life equal to its power. For an additional 2 green, you can play the Werewolf Packleader, a 3/3 that with +1/+1 vigilance and trample becomes an absolute monster, and I have had players scoop as soon as this hits the board. The Kessig Naturalist, a red and green. Whenever Kessig Naturalist enters, add red or green after you've attacked. You don't lose that mana as steps and phases end. And if it flips to nighttime, other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. To accomplish a quick nighttime flip, we have the Unnatural Moonrise, which will switch the day-night cycle. It will give a card that you control +1/+0. And if that card deals damage to the enemy, you will draw a card. It also adds trample. We have 2 copies of the Ascendant Packleader on hand as well as additional 1-drop options. 3 copies of Tovolar, the Dire Overlord, who can also help us flip that day-night cycle and really get into some scary territory here. He will flip the day-night cycle automatically at the start of your upkeep if you have 3 or more wolves or werewolves under your control while he is on the battlefield. One of the main counter engines we're going to be using is Halana and Alena partners. For 4 total mana, 2, 1 red and 1 green. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Halana and Alena's power. That creature gains haste until the end of turn. This card we'll be using to catapult our creatures to the top of the counter board by pairing it with the Avabruck Caretaker. The Avabruck Caretaker is a hexproof card for 4 and 2 green. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. This triggers after Halana and Alena partners, unfortunately in most cases, but as the turns spiral out of control, putting her 2 +1/+1s on Halana and Alena turn Halana and Alena into a monster, adding +1/+1 counters across the board. If it flips to nighttime, then everything on your board, including lands, creatures, artifacts, enchantments, will gain hexproof. And the Howlhenge Huntmaster, which is the transformed form, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, including the Howlhenge. So, flipping tonight with this on the board is what we're trying to get to. To help us cheat that to the battlefield, we're playing 4 copies of the Howlpack Piper. This spell cannot be countered, and when it's on the battlefield, for 1 and a green, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's a wolf or werewolf, untap that card and you can repeat the process. If it flips to nighttime, you can search your library for any creature card from the top 6, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then you put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Now, the one hang-up with this card is it does not play nicely with Tovolar. So the goal is, if we're able to play Howlpack, we will not play Tovolar until after the Howlpack has hit the battlefield, because when Tovolar flips the day-night cycle at the start of upkeep, it kind of ruins the Howlpack Piper's trick. We're going to have a little bit of fun with this deck, see if we can climb through gold, and we will see you in the gameplay. Alright, we found another opponent. In a very embarrassing admission here, I've already recorded a couple of games and realized that those games did not happen on the ranked playlist. We're going to go ahead and include them anyway, as they were some interesting games against Is It Turns deck that is very unique on the alchemy side of things. Haven't seen it in quite a long time, period, because I haven't been in standard in a while, but it was a unique take on it in the alchemy playlist. And a Boros win that was just kind of fun, just shows the intimidating nature of this deck when it spirals out a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and include those anyway, regardless of the fact that we weren't in the ranked setting, and we'll get a few ranked matches in here for your pleasure. Waiting on the opponent to decide what they're keeping, we're going to go ahead and drop Halana and Alena here. Play our tapped land on 1 and get ready to Kessig Naturalist on 2. Opponent playing green-black, Naturalist coming down. 3rd mana available now, which is exciting because we'll be able to get the Tovolar down on time. Opponent making decisions. Do I play the mana or do I not? Do I play the Bloodchief's Thirst or do I not? Alright, black, blue, green. Still not completely familiar with my wheel of colors for Magic the Gathering, but that's something that, of course, over time will become more familiar as I spend more time around it. 2 colors are a little easier to remember. When it gets to the 3 color combinations, you got me. I believe the only one I remember somewhat consistently, and I could be mistaken in my memory here, would be Jeskai, only because that's red, white, and blue, and as we say here in America, America. Opponent now up to 4 mana. Let's see if this is some kind of crazy jank. Don't know if they're going to try and go for a Skeletal Swarming, or if they're just holding up some removal. Alright, we are going to play the Packsong Pup, get this bad boy growing. And we will hold up the mana, not looking to double spell right now, as I would rather have bigger blockers here to hold down the fort. They could also be sitting on bounce spells, so we'll have to see what they decide to do. Let them think we're going for something a little bigger here. Opponent dividing by 0. We'll let the Tovolar come back. Again, we're not going to double spell in this instance, as we would really like to save the nighttime cycle and come in hard. With this trample, they're going to lose the Prosperous Innkeeper, and this will not end up chumping. They've seen it. So we'll go ahead and take the damage and move on through. Let's see what their play is here. They did pick up the Environmental Sciences. Looks like they may have bricked a little bit and are trying to correct that. If that comes out first, that's a good sign for us. Opponent taking their time. Looks like they may elect to bounce the Packsong Pup. Seems as though they haven't quite decided their playline, though. There's the Environmental Sciences, so now they have 2 available mana, which means there's no Divide by 0 on deck. Do they have removal? Could be Infernal Grasp, or could even be a simple Fading Hope. Must say, these Dracula lands are really cool art design. Gotta give it to the Wizards of the Coast team for excellent art quality here. We're gonna go ahead and drop in the Tovolar. And we will go ahead and swing through, holding 2 mana up so that we can pump into trample for their chump. There's the chump. Here's the pump. There goes the Prosperous Innkeeper. So the perpetual life gain that would typically come off of the Skeletal Swarming deck will not be there for them. And with this Tenacious Pup coming down, we're going to go ahead and flip it back to daytime, with the nighttime imminent flip coming at the start of our upkeep, and the Werewolf Packleader coming down next turn in a big, big way. Shadow's Verdict, that right there is unfortunate. Or is it, ladies and gentlemen? Halana and Alena partners coming down with the Tenacious Pup pump. Werewolf Packleader on its heels, gonna go to a 6/6 from the jump and pick up a card. What a pickup. Oh, opponent down to 5. If they don't have another Shadow's Verdict, this game could very well be over. Let us see what they elect to do. One downfall to this deck design, I must say, is the lack of hexproof outside of the Avabruck Caretaker. Do wish I had included a handful of Snakeskin Veils just in case, but to be honest, that's not the whole goal here. We're trying to minimize and go for a very aggro feel, and the opponent can't take the heat. They have elected to leave the kitchen. Avabruck Caretaker, a terrifying card when paired up with cards such as the Werewolf Packleader and most of the other bombs in this deck. We are excited to take that victory, folks, and we're going to go ahead and see you in the next one. Alright, we have found our next match, and let us see. This hand is interesting for sure. Could play the Werewolf Packleader, but a little nervous about no red color. And the game doesn't seem to care. They are electing not to give us our color palette just yet, so we're going to go ahead and take what we got here and not go for any further chances of messing this up. Alright, mana continuing to flow in a happy way. That could mean we can get the Howlpack Piper down. And with the Howlpack Piper, that will completely change the game here. Opponent playing tapped. That is good news for us. Another mana coming down on the board. Tenacious Pup. See if they bounce the Ascendant Packleader. Not a favorable play on their part if they elect to do so. They would have to wait till end step for it to have maximum effect, which means we'll get in for 2 damage here. And if they do bounce it, we'll just play it down and turn it into a 3-2. What we're really hoping for now is that mana draw. There's the mana. Ladies and gentlemen, the Shuffler is our friend right now. And this is a big deal because they will not be able to counter the Howlpack Piper. They will have to elect to divide by 0. Starting the day-night cycle, if the opponent passes turn, that is about the only way they can counter us sneaking 2 Avabruck Caretakers to the board. Here comes Fading Hope. There's 1. And 2. Excellent play on the opponent's part. Alright, so they divide by 0 the Howlpack Piper's return. That's okay for us. It'll flip the day-night cycle. We'll go ahead and get the Ascendant Packleader down. Swing in for 1 more damage. We could be facing, once again, another Izzet Mill deck. They've become very popular. With that Howlpack Piper uncounterable now, sitting in the queue on day-night to our favor, as long as this doesn't flip, we'll be able to potentially get our Avabrucks down. Let's see what they elect to do. They're a little bit away from doing a double Tasha's, as that Galvanic is on the wrong side right now at 3 mana cost. Looks like they're going to try and fix their mana, though, and move in from there. Oh, and another Forest. Let's see, folks. We're going to go ahead and see if we can draw out another divide by 0, pump the Packleader, and move on from there. Okay, opponent doesn't play it right out the gate. Still possible that they have it. Letting us swing in for 4. On end step, do they play the instant? Or is it just the Galvanic holding up priority? Alright, this could be it, folks. This next turn will determine what happens. Oh, what a play on the opponent's part. Tapping way too far down, though. That could end up being the end of them here. This Avabruck will survive in a big way unless they're sitting on another burn down the house. Making it to the board without their ability to counter it, that is a big deal. Alright, tapped land coming in. Do they have the burn down the house? If not, folks, this game is going to go in a bad direction for them. Discover the formula. They've tapped all the way down. This is not a good situation for them. They are going to live to regret it as the next Avabruck hits the deck. They're going to pump each other up, putting them out of burn down the house range. They will have to double cast it for any chance to win. Do they have the mana for a double cast? At this moment, no. But if they picked up a land here, they could Galvanic with the 3 mana Galvanic that we see in the Exile Zone. There's a Geist Channeler. That's not going to be enough. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be it. If they don't play another body to stop these Avabrucks, this game is effectively over. No way to bounce them. Lier, Disciple of the Drowned, there's the body they need, but that body will not be enough, as this next turn we're coming downhill. We're going to go ahead and play Tovolar. No counters available for the opponent. And once again, putting ourselves even further out of range of the single cast of Burn Down the House. Swinging in, they're going to have to block everything. Any hit on the body is game. Geist Channeler taking 1, Lier to taking 1. There's a Fading Hope. They bounce the Lier. Good call. Unfortunately, I did not have the red mana available to turn around and fire off what was needed. This could be the double burn down the house we were waiting on. There it is. Well done on their part. They are still alive. We're going to go ahead and play Halana and Alena. And hold. Lier's going to come down. Let's see if they have the spells they need to stay alive. The one red mana is really hurting us at this point. We need a second if we want to stay in this game. There's a tapped Hall of the Storm Giants. That could be a big body blocker for them coming up. Lier hitting the battlefield. Do they have a Divide by Zero available? Do they play it or do they save it? We're going to go ahead and show them the Werewolf Packleader, see if they elect to bounce that back to hand. So far, nothing. We're going to show them the Tovolar. Now they have to make a hard choice. They will probably bounce Halana and Alena. That makes the most sense to my eye, as that will keep us from hasting in something. They don't. Okay, we will show them the Werewolf Packleader, give them that as their bounce target, and hold for the next turn. Now they have a decision to make. Do they elect to do the chump block again, and then bounce the Lier back to hand? That could very well be their play line. Opponent thinking about their options right now. It's also possible they have the bounce spells in hand too, so this could be a much more complicated decision than we're giving them credit for. They may even elect to just take the 5 damage. I'd be very surprised if they went that particular route. Well, they've used their first time out. They're definitely really mulling over their options. I don't see them touching anything. It's possible that they pulled the plug, but that'll be a hard decision here to determine until we get to the next stage. Putting the counters on the Werewolf Packleader was by design, as I wanted to hold up the Tovolar. We're going to go ahead and swing in, keep the Tovolar out of their targeting sites here. We have enough health that if they elect to pop the Hall of the Storm Giants on the next turn, we can take the hit. Now, do they block? Or do they bounce? I fully expect them to bounce here. But the question is, do they bounce the Lier? Nope, they bounce the Werewolf Packleader as expected. There's an Environmental Sciences. Now, what is the play for them? They've got enough to burn down the house again. Do they have a bounce spell in hand? Will they be burning down the house and then bouncing Lier back home? That would tap them all the way out, but it is a play line that is available. Opponent passing to the attack phase. Passing all the way through. Something is up their sleeve, and I'm a little curious as to what that is. They're going to allow the day-night cycle to flip, which is an interesting choice to say the least. Oh, they pick up 2 health. And there's the burn down the house. Okay. Pretty much exactly what we expected here. That allows us to get the Packleader down this coming turn. And a Kessig Naturalist. What a pickup, folks. That is going to help us reset our board. Let's see if they've got counter magic available. Werewolf Packleader coming down in tandem. Unnatural Moonrise sitting in hand. They're going to discover the formula, pull some cards out of their deck, and let's see what happens. Another Lier would be a devastating blow to us, as they will just continue to have burn down the houses available, and seeing that we are a majority creature-based deck, we're not going to have much to stop them. Alright, they've passed the turn. Chances are they're going to be holding up that Hall of the Storm Giants for a blocker here. Do they play the Environmental Sciences? No, they discard to hand size. We're going to go ahead and play the Tenacious Pup. Five mana available, need 4. We're going to go ahead and hold. I lied. We're going to go ahead and attack. We're going to put them into range of some very hard choices here in just a moment. We've picked up another land. We're going to go ahead and show red. Make them wonder what's going on here. There's the blocker. Now, where do they elect to put it? Most likely on the Packleader. If they put it on the Packleader, we will pump. Actually, I lied. We won't pump the Packleader. It doesn't make any sense at this point. We're going to go ahead and just let them take it. The pump would have been saved for if they elected to block the Lord of the Ulvenwald instead, and we're going to go ahead and keep it on the night side of the cycle here. Let's see if they have anything else they can cast. Another reduced cost, discover the formula, refilling their hand yet again. Alright, opponent to 5 health. We're going to need a bomb to pull this off. They've got more mana than we know what to do with here, and a free environmental sciences. Wow. With that, they could stay well out of our range. This game is probably over at this point, as we took a lot of good cards early, but then proceeded to get blown out by their board wipes. They hit critical mana at one point there, as we saw earlier, pulling down. Oh, so kind. And with the Tenacious Pup's pump, that's going to be huge. We're going to go ahead and play it and sit, as this could give us the attack line we need if we survive the next turn. There's the Hullbreaker. That is not what we wanted to see. Folks, I'm pretty sure at this point this game is over, as we don't have anything that can give us the hasted in entries that we're going to need to win. There goes the Kessig. Let's see what happens. There's an expressive, bouncing out the other Lord of the Ulvenwald. Tenacious Pup now sitting naked. And again, more mana than anyone could imagine sitting there for the opponent. They can do just about anything at this point. Hand full of spells, as they've cast a number of Discover the Formulas. There's the Geist Channeler, and there goes our blocker. They're going to go ahead and swing all the way through and game. And folks, I don't see any way that we come out of this one. Alright folks, gonna go ahead and put everything back on the field again. Again, with the opponent's Hullbreaker Horror, we don't have any way to pound through, and they've got enough spells to just make us regret all of our decisions. There's a double Fading Hope equivalent. At this point, folks, we're not even gonna play it out. It's just a waste of time. We know the outcome of this game is a foregone conclusion. We'll hit them with the GG and the scoop. Alright, we have another opponent, Jace the Mind Sculptor, or just a Jace avatar. Hopefully we're not running into a wall of mill again. One of my earliest exposures to this game was in Duels of the Planeswalkers on Xbox, and one of my favorite cards during that period of time was a mill deck's Mind Erasure, which is essentially a Kicked Maddening Cacophony for the effect. This is a keep of a hand for us. Since we don't have a turn 1 play, we will play that tapped land, get our 2 colors on board immediately, go into the Packsong Pup, followed by the Tovolar on turn number 3. There's the blue lead-in. Again, art style on a lot of these lands, just gorgeous. There's Izzet, just what we were expecting. Now, how do they follow this up? No Foretell, so that is a positive start for us here. We do have the 4 mana that we're going to need to bring the Howlpack Piper out on time. There's a Jawari. good to know that they are sitting on those, as it may change up the approach that we have moving into this next turn. Never mind. With that foretell, we will go ahead and play the Tovolar as planned, and because the Howlpack Piper is uncounterable, that will be on the board. It's just going to have to survive through one turn of potential bounce. Opponent considering their options. Let's see if they elect to bounce something into the graveyard. They took whatever they saw. Could be land. Hard to say at this point. Again, looking at some more hallmarks of a potential mill deck here. If this is dual strike, there's the Ruin Crab. Okay, so what are we dealing with? They've already played the land, so they played that out of cycle, holding the multiverse. This could work out very well for us. If we can survive one more solid turn, this game will go out of reach very quickly. We're going to go ahead and play the Piper down while we can, and we will cheat the next two cards onto the battlefield. They're going to have to elect if they want to take this damage. They don't have anything that can take it off the board at this time. Another Caretaker. Ooh, this is going to get scary quick, folks. They have one shot. They're going to have to elect if they want to bounce or if they're going to try and mill us out on this turn. There's the Fading Hope. That's not going to be enough, though. This next turn is going to be painful for them. There's a foretell. No bounce on the Piper, and they're going to regret that move. There's a consider. Uh-oh, ladies and gentlemen, I am smelling a scoop here. This will flip the day-night cycle. The Avabruck Caretaker on the board will be terrifying. I'm going to elect to pull both of them down this turn, as with that day-night flip, they're not going to have another chance. Alright, swinging in. Ruin Crab's going to have to take this hit. And when this flips, everything's gonna go hexproof. So unless they've got a board wipe, they don't have a way to take this out. And I don't think they have a board wipe big enough for the turns that they've got available. Oh, another Avabruck Caretaker. We're gonna go ahead and pass on that, pick up the Ascendant Packleader, and just watch them fret. What do they got, folks? If they dual cast a Burn Down the House, that would get the job done, but I don't think they've got enough mana to make that play line. They would need at least 7 mana, as the typical dual strike does not cover that. This could flip it back, and if that happens, once again, we're going to be looking at a very scary situation for them, as I've got a wall of damage coming down. There's a Ruin Crab, so they're electing to put a blocker on the board. The Howlhenge Huntmaster is going back to Avabrucks. They are still protected from bounce effects, and if the Windsong Howler goes back to the Howlpack Piper, all it's going to do is just cheat cards onto the battlefield once again. So the opponent is in a very bad situation here. Cathartic Pyre looking to fix their hand. They don't have much that they can do here. They are in big, big trouble. Folks, I think this is going to be game. We're going to put the Tovolar down. Uh-oh. That was a misplay, folks. We do make them from time to time. We're going to go ahead and pump up our Caretakers just to be safe. Swing in for the beans. And that play will potentially cost us a really bad situation here. They're going to take 6. Their mill strategy is fading fast. And since we have the Tovolar on board, we're going to go ahead and play down the Ascendant Packleader. Plenty of Moonrises, so as long as they don't double cast a Burn Down the House, we are okay. Opponent taking their time, weighing their options. We are just safe enough from a mill out with 41 available cards. That should keep us just out of range of Atashas as long as we have another Avabruck sitting somewhere in the library to stave off the big drop mana loss. Nice thing about having mana cards 3 and higher is the fact that we can make this happen. That could be the double Burn Down the House. If that happens, this is a whole new game. No, that is the Tashas. They're trying to mill us out, but it's not going to be enough, folks. Big mill out for the first one. 32 total cards gone, 9 left, and we're going to make it to the end here. Ladies and gentlemen, they give us a good game, we will send it back their way. And they scoop. Look at that board. This is a fun deck. Misplays aside, it does have some punchiness that just sneaks right on up on you. Up into gold tier 2, and so far we are undefeated. Wow, look at me misspeak there. We're undefeated on the ranked queue with this deck. Alright, we have another opponent. Alright, this is an interesting hand. This is actually a hand I'm going to elect to keep. It is a slow roller for the start. We'll hope to pick up a 1-drop or another aggressive 2-drop to really pair with this Packsong Pup as we build up to the Howlpack Piper. Our game plan, just taking a quick look without knowing the opponent's strategy here, will be to get the Piper down on 4 and the Caretaker down on 5 with the mana that we already have. If we flood out and continue to draw mana, we may try and just play a natural Caretaker, but we don't know where this game is going to go just yet. Blue mana for the start from the opponent. That is a little nervous. Let's see what they could be playing here. So far we see is it going to be a mill strategy? That is a worrying foretell, as it could be a dual strike setting up a Tasha's Hideous Laughter or Mega Dump. Evolving Wilds, more hallmarks of a mill deck, just no Ruin Crab for that to maximize the effect. Do they play a Maddening Cacophony without the patience? No, they are still electing to hold. We're going to play the Packsong Pup and see if we can dodge Jawari. Chances are they'll Fading Hope here. There it is, folks. Can I call it or can I call it? Unfortunately, we don't have the mana to recast the Naturalist, but honestly, sitting in this particular situation, it's not something we want to cast. Interesting dump there. I don't know if that's what they meant to do, but we're going to go ahead and drop the Howlpack Piper. And they can't take it, folks. They are out. I believe they miscast there, not realizing they couldn't cast something else to follow it up. Howlpack Piper coming down as the Windsong Howler was just too much for them to bear. And with that, taking another win into the next game. Alright, we have another opponent here. Gael. Looks like some distant relative to Superman, or so they believe. Let's find out if they have the same bulletproof invincibility that their cousin is known for. This is a good start hand. We're going to go ahead and playline this Highland Forest down on 1 tapped. No need to go there. Kessig Naturalist on 2. Attack in on 3, put the mana down for the Piper and Avabruck Caretaker. That is our ideal playline. Let's see what we're dealing with. And that, my friends, is an avatar I've never seen. That is an interesting looking pup. Looks like a dog that I know. Alright, opponent playing white on 1. Stonebinder's familiar. This could be mono white exile tribal. If that's the case, the Kessig Naturalist could very quickly fall prey to a portable hole. We're going to have to chance it, though, if we want to get our strategy down in an effective manner. There's Angel of Unity, so we're looking now at an Orzhov-based play. I suspect that what we'll end up seeing here is going to be a Skyclave Cleric. The Apparition, Skyclave Apparition. Baleful Mastery, interesting. We do have the 4 mana that we would need to properly get ourselves in position for the Howlpack Piper. And we have a backup on deck, so let's go ahead and play down the Pack Leader, give us the chump strength to at least stop the Stonebinder Familiar pending more removal. Opponent up to 4 mana. A Kitesail Cleric, okay. If it was kicked, tap up to 2 creatures. They're going to swing in for 3 here. This will spiral very quickly if we're allowed to go 1 more turn. We're going to go ahead and play Halana and Alena. Change up our playline just a little bit and put some pressure on. First strike on a Halana and Alena is going to give it a very juicy target incentive. We'll see if they have what it takes. There's another Kitesail Cleric. This is a very interesting playline from the opponent. It appears that they may be out of options in their hand. And they scoop, ladies and gentlemen. They just didn't have it. Can't believe that worked out in our favor, not gonna lie. I was a little worried there for a moment as they were swinging right through us. With that, that is another win in the books, and we'll see you in the next one. Alright, we have found our next opponent, and this hand is a definite keep. Gonna play the Ascendant Packleader on 1. Oh, never mind here, folks. This is a playline right out of a dream. Gonna play the Tenacious Pup on 1, pass over turn 2 with the tap land unless we draw something a little more interesting, and get ready to... Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this hand keeps getting better and better. With this Werewolf Packleader 4/4 Trample Vigilance, this is going to get scary. With this untapped land, it gives us the Tovolar and allows us to move into a very scary attack phase. Runeforge Champion coming down for the opponent. Let's see what they elect to do here. Picking up a Rune of Sustenance. Are they going to equip? Yes, that is a big boy. Tovolar coming down. Gonna go ahead and attack in, see if they elect to block. They don't have the mana to equip that Sword of the Realms. Gonna pick up a card draw, another untapped land, allowing us to put down a very aggressive double spell next turn and potentially punch through in a big way. Opponent does have enough to equip the Sword of the Realms that will put it slightly out of range of our pack leader, or so they think. Let's see if they see the playline. Are they going to attack in? They are going to attack in. They think that Vigilance will save them. Here comes the day-night flip. Alright, and this is exactly the playline we were hoping for here. And they scoop, ladies and gentlemen. Werewolves are a terrifying archetype. They can spiral out of control very quickly, very early. Turn 4, and we were a little too much for them. That is an exciting victory, and we will look forward to seeing you in the next one. Alright, and we're back for the post-game wrap here, folks. This was a fun deck to play. I love the Werewolf archetype that was brought in with the day-night cycle back in Midnight Hunt. A lot of really fun cards that you can play through, especially some of the introductions that came in on Crimson Vow. Avabruck Caretaker, just an absolutely terrifying card. If you end up resolving this card, most opponents, if they don't have a way to deal with it immediately, will end up leaving. As we saw in a game or two there, this deck performed remarkably well. Over a 5-game sample set, we ended up going 4-1, losing to a very powerful Izzet deck that just managed to board wipe us out of existence at the critical moments and then resolve a Hullbreaker Horror and lock us out from that point. Outside of that, a couple of, as you can see, short games. A lot of times, like I said, with a deck like this, what ends up happening, opponents end up seeing your playline start to resolve, and you're just too powerful too quickly. You just overpower them before they have a chance to resolve their gameplay strategy. A couple of bonus games going to be in here, as I did misclick early on, playing in the play queue as opposed to ranked, but you know, we're enjoying this road to Mythic. This was a fun deck to pull a couple wins out, move us into Gold 2, if I'm not mistaken, as we continue that climb. And really, you know, not a bad way to go. If you have some of these cards already, you know, it's a good time. Some of them, you know, you can sub out for other options. This is a very easy deck to go outside of the Alchemy playlist if you choose not to. Just take the Tenacious Pup out and pick another Wolf card for your liking. As always, the deck list will be in the description below. Please like and subscribe. Again, we are looking to climb our way to 1,000, get this channel on the roll. And this is Furion from the Florida Men Gaming, signing off.